All right, let's dive into a story that is genuinely unsettling. This one comes to us from a subscriber named Sahil, and it's a true account of how a trip that was supposed to be about healing, well, it turned into an absolute nightmare on a dark, lonely mountain road.
So, our story really begins and ends with this one haunting line from Sahil. Think about it, a lullaby. It's supposed to be the ultimate sound of comfort, of safety, right? So how in the world does it become the source of someone's deepest, most terrifying fear? Let's get into what happened.
So, let's set the scene. It all kicked off with four buddies, Sahil, Chirag, Arun, and Same, on a trip up to the gorgeous hill station of Manali. But you know, this wasn't just some regular vacation. It had a much, much deeper purpose.
See, their friend Samai, who was usually the life of the party, had just become quiet, withdrawn. His younger brother had recently died, and the grief was just weighing him down. This trip was their best shot at trying to bring the old Samai back. And on their third day, the plan was simple, just to drive up to the incredible Rotong Pass, hoping the beauty of the place would bring a little light back into his life.
As they were all heading out of their hotel, feeling pretty optimistic, the receptionist just sort of casually threw this piece of advice at them. It sounded simple enough, but it carried this strange weight that they just couldn't understand yet. A simple warning that was about to echo in their heads with some serious, terrifying meaning.
So naturally, they asked him, hey, why? And the receptionist explained that the name Rotong literally translates to pile of corpses. Yeah, not exactly inviting, right? It's a nod to all the people who've died trying to cross its dangerous paths. He even told them about a local legend, an illusory shadow that supposedly messes with travelers after dark. Of course, the friends just laughed it off, just a spooky story for the tourists, nothing more.
Well, after having a great day, they started their drive back way later than they'd planned. It's about 9:15 at night now, the road is pitch black, the fog is getting incredibly thick, and visibility is just gone. This is where things start to get really weird.
Peering through that dense mist, they finally spot a milestone, Manali, 28 kilometers away. But that wasn't the weird part. What was truly bizarre was the person Sahil saw sitting on top of it. In the freezing cold of the mountains, there was a man, perched right on that stone, wearing nothing but a thin dhoti. Sahil thought it was odd, for sure, but he didn't say anything.
Okay, let's really unpack this, because this is the moment their reality just completely shatters. About 20 minutes later, they see the exact same milestone again, Manali 28 kilometers. This time, Chirag says something like, hey, did you guys see that little girl with the toy? And Sahil's like, what? No, it was a man in a dhoti. But then Arun, who's gripping the steering wheel, says, you're both wrong. I saw a black horse, just standing there.
And that was the moment. The general feeling of unease in the car cranked up to genuine, heart-pounding fear. I mean, how? How can three people look at the exact same object at the exact same time and see three totally different things? They weren't just lost on a road anymore. They were trapped in something that made absolutely no sense.
After they passed that same stone for a third time, and this time it was completely empty, the terror just escalated. Arun, with his eyes glued to the road, spoke in this low, tense voice and gave them a truly chilling instruction.
He said, don't look out the side windows. His voice was just tight with fear, but someone is walking alongside us. I mean, can you imagine? Their blood must have run cold. There was nobody on the road. But right outside their car, a figure was somehow keeping perfect pace with them.
It was a boy, maybe 15 years old. His clothes were covered in mud and his face was a mess of injuries. And he was walking, not running, just walking, effortlessly keeping up with their car as it was moving at 40 kilometers per hour. It's impossible, right? While the others were just frozen in fear, Samai insisted the boy needed help and actually opened his window. As they finally sped away, the boy stopped and waved, and in the rearview mirror, Sahil watched in horror as Samai smiled and waved right back.
That's when Arun just floored it. They drove in complete, terrified silence, eyes locked straight ahead, until finally, a new milestone appeared through the fog. Manali, 16 kilometers. They'd done it. They'd broken the loop. The relief was just overwhelming as they pulled up to their hotel, agreeing to just try and forget everything until morning.
But the horror wasn't over, not even close. It had followed them home. At 3:30 in the morning, Sahil was jolted awake by a sound. It was singing, a soft, gentle lullaby, the exact same one Samai's mom used to sing to him and his little brother who had passed away. And there was Samai, standing in front of the mirror, singing to himself. But his reflection was a monster. It had these blood-red eyes, dark marks were blooming on its neck like it was being strangled, and it had this small, deeply sinister smile. The person in the mirror wasn't Samai. He was possessed.
As the friends started backing away, the thing wearing Samai's face turned to look at them, and in a chillingly innocent, childlike voice, the voice of the boy from the road, it asked that question. And just like that, Samai's body collapsed to the floor, completely unconscious.
The next morning, they were absolutely desperate. They remembered the receptionist's weird warning and his talk about local legends. They had no other choice. They carried Samai's unconscious body to a local pundit, a Hindu priest, just hoping for some kind of miracle.
The pandit took one look at Samai and knew, instantly, what was wrong. He explained that there was a Bura Saya, an evil spirit, that had taken advantage of Samai's grief. It used that vulnerability, mimicking his lost brother to gain access, to gain control of his body.
The pundit didn't waste a single second. He immediately started a 3-part ritual to cleanse Samai. First, a ceremony to ward off the evil eye, then he moved into some really intense ritualistic chanting, and finally finished with a formal prayer to completely drive the entity out. And the whole ritual came to this grotesque climax. Samai started to vomit, violently, expelling the strange, thick, black liquid. It was like a physical manifestation of the evil that had taken hold of him. And with that, it was over. The possession was broken.
Amazingly, Samai made a complete recovery. He went right back to his old cheerful self, and get this, he has no memory of what happened. Nothing from that drive, nothing about the possession. But for his friends, especially for Sahil, the experience left a deep, permanent scar.
And this brings us right back to where we started. While Samai was saved, the trauma of what they saw stayed with Sahil. He confesses that even now he is haunted by what happened. He says, "Every night I have dreams of his lullaby." A sound that should have been beautiful is now, for him, forever corrupted into a sound of pure terror. The Manali 28 km incident is so much more than just a ghost story. It's a terrifying look at how grief can leave a door wide open to the darkness, and how a place, steeped in its own dark legends, can reach in and twist our most cherished memories into our very worst nightmares, leaving scars that, may never truly fade.